Hey everybody, Backpack Hack here coming at you with another trail tip, and today I'm going to be doing a pocket dump. I'm going to show you my EDC gear. As you can see, it's very minimal. I don't carry a whole lot of gear with me. However, most of this stuff that you see here on the table, I carry with me on my person all day, every day. Every waking hour, I have this gear with me. There's a couple things here that I don't carry all the time, and I'll go over that when we start going through the individual items. But I do want to preface this by saying that most of the stuff here is out of production. Unfortunately, most of this stuff is no longer available new. The only time you're going to find it new is if you have a store that still has some old stock of it sitting around. So if you want to try to find some of this gear, you're going to have to do a little bit of digging, look on Craigslist and eBay, and some of your used outlets that sell used items. So let's get into the details of this and show you what I carry for my EDC. And first up, obviously, is a cell phone. This is a Samsung Galaxy S5. This is one of those things that has long been out of production. But I'm one of those that don't go chasing new technology. New and improved generally isn't. Old and lousy works just fine for me. I don't chase all the new fancy features because generally I have to give up things that I like and things that I know that work and accept things that I don't like and don't work to get the latest and greatest. It bothers me that I'm forced to upgrade. If I can avoid an upgrade, I will. I've had this phone for, I don't know, 6-7 years now. It still functions. It's starting to delaminate around the screen, but it still functions just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this as long as I possibly can. In fact, I'll probably try to find a used one somewhere and have a backup to this. I do have a hard case on it. This is a ballistic case. I gave up on OtterBoxes years ago because I couldn't get an OtterBox to last me more than 6 months. This is a ballistic case. It's a lot more compact than an OtterBox, and I like it a whole lot better because it's both a hard case and a soft case. It has a soft inner shell and a hard outer shell. And one thing that I do with this case is I can pop off the hard shell back, and I keep a little bit of mad money in the back of my phone for emergencies. So if you have a cell phone case that you can do that with, that may be something you may want to consider doing, is just putting a little bit of money into your case for an emergency. And again, this is out of production. For a pocket knife, I carry a KERSHAW Black Gulch number 3120. This is a jigged bone. They make it in different types of handles, but this is a jigged bone. Again, this is out of production as well. However, if you go to eBay, you can generally find them for $30, $35. I like this because it's, for the longest time, I used to carry a buck folding hunter, and that was just too big. And I found another pocket knife that was about this big overall folded, and it was just too small. So when I went shopping here several years ago, I found this knife. It's a KERSHAW. This one is model number 3120JB, which stands for the jigged bone. But if you just Google KERSHAW 3120 or KERSHAW Black Gulch, you should be able to find one of these. It's been sharpened many times. I haven't managed to break the tip off this one for, I don't know, the last 15, 20 years that I've had it. And you can see that it's gotten a lot of use. I mean, it just fits my hands so well. I like this size of pocket knife. So that is my EDC pocket knife. And again, this one is out of production. Another item that is out of production is my multi-tool. This is a Leatherman tool. And if it looks familiar, that is because this is an original. This is the first one they came out with, and I was able to get one when they first came out. Now, it doesn't have a whole lot of wear because I don't use it a whole lot, but when I do use it, it is very handy. It's not as handy as the new ones they have out now. And Leatherman, I think, currently has a reproduction of this. They have reintroduced this exact same tool back into their lineup, but I just prefer, since this one's paid for, I just went ahead and kept it. It's got a file in it, a small screwdriver, a number 2 Phillips screwdriver, a bottle and can opener. It's got a knife blade. It's got a couple of flat screwdriver blades and an awl or poker or whatever, wire cutters, regular pliers, needle nose pliers, And it's also got, if you fold it up just right, It's got a ruler on it. If you put it in this configuration, you've got a ruler on it. I mean, like I say, it's not as good as the newer ones, because the newer ones, all the tools come out the outside, as opposed, you know, they've made them so you have to open them up to get the tool out, and you have a more solid surface here. They've basically inverted this piece, and so all the tools come out the other way, or some other method. This is not the most comfortable to grip, but you aren't putting a whole lot of pressure on here. And there have been times that I've pulled this out and used it just because I forgot to grab the tool that I needed. The leather case that I have with this had deteriorated to the point where I no longer trusted it to carry it, so I had a local leather crafter make me a replacement case. In fact, I had him make me two. So if this one ever croaks on me, I've got another one I can go to. So that is the Leatherman original multi-function tool, or multi-tool. For a flashlight, the Zebralight SC 600 FD4 Plus. I just absolutely love this flashlight. And I've already got a couple of videos out there, and I'll put those in the description below as to watching those, and also put them up here on the screen because they are, I can link to them right here in the video. I just love this flashlight. I carry it all the time. The only thing I've had to do is put a couple of rings here to keep it from turning and from this pulling off, because I have had the flashlight pull away from the clip while it's clipped into my pants pocket. But that's all explained in the video about this flashlight. The one thing I want to mention too, however, is the battery inside. This was the factory. This is the one that I bought directly from Zebralight when I bought it. It's a 3,500 milliamp hour flashlight. Here it is, the 1st of September. I charged this flashlight back in the first week of January, and I'm going to do a test on it right now. I'm going to hit this button 4 times, and it should either flash 1, 2, 3, or 4 times. The more flashes, the more powerful, or the more charge that is still in the battery. So let's see how this is held up for 9 months now. 1, 2, 3. So I've probably got about 50 to 60% charge still in this after using this for 9 whole months. Now, I don't use this every day, but usually I use it on the moonlight mode, one of these lower modes. Those are what I usually use it for. But there are times that I really need to crank it up, and they will crank it up. And so that battery has lasted me for 9 months. I've still got 50 to 60% charge on there. So that just says a lot for Zebralight, and the battery manufacturer, I think it was Panasonic. For a firearm, I carry a Smith & Wesson 642 J-frame. This is the 163810, which is all stainless steel, which makes it a nice everyday carry. This is a 5-shot revolver in .38 Special, and we won't get into why I prefer a revolver for everyday carry, nor why I ankle carry it. I carry this on my left ankle. This is a Phobos hard shell case or holster, and this is the way I typically carry this. The holster is no longer made by Phobos. However, you can still buy a brand new 642 Smith & Wesson. That's my everyday carry. Firearm, like I said, this is one of those things that I don't carry and I don't have on me every single day, but when I do carry, this is what I carry, and this is where I carry it. I carry it on my left ankle. You've probably seen this in some of my videos in my shirt pocket. This is a SCHRADE SCPEN10C tactical pen. This is another item that is currently out of production, and SCHRADE actually didn't make it. They farmed it out to a company called Taylor Industries. And so this is out of production, although SCHRADE still has a lot of different tactical pens available. It has an ink pen on it, a glass breakage device, so if you're trapped in a car and need to break your glass out to get out, as well as a handcuff key. There is a handcuff key built right into it. And that's what I purposely bought it for, is that handcuff key. However, the only thing about this pen I don't like is this ink cartridge. This is one out of another one that I've got. I've got several of these. This is the ink cartridge. I have never been able to find a source for these replacement ink cartridges. So, Instead of using the factory original, what I've done is I've taken an ordinary ink cartridge replacement and simply cut it down. I simply took a pair of wire cutters, snipped it off, and spent some time cleaning up the mess of ink that came out. And once I had that done, I was able to simply replace this with this, and it works just fine. However, if I did find a source for these replacement ink cartridges, I'd probably buy a couple of dozen of them if I could find them. Again, both of these are out of production, and these are impossible to find. Keychains. I always carry two. This way, I always have two house keys with me. This way, if I lose one set of keys, I always have a key to get into my house with. And a lot of keys that are there's a lot of duplication between these keys, key rings. There's a lot of the same keys. So if I lose one set, I'm good to go on another one. This is what I call my spare set. I also carry a handcuff key on that, as well as I carry a handcuff key on here. I've also got an eyeglass tool. This is just a nice little tool. I've lost one of the covers that goes on this, but it has a very, very small jeweler screwdrivers, flat and Phillips on both ends to tighten the screws on most eyeglasses. The last thing I have on this key ring is a Nite Ize DoohicKey, and this is just a simple, it's a carabiner type tool. It's got some nut drivers on it, a bottle opener, a box opener, you can cut open boxes, as well as a large flat screwdriver, and you've got a carabiner of some sort built into it. And I've used that on several occasions just to have it there on my key ring. So those are my key rings. The last thing on my list is my Fällkniven S1 Pro. This is another item that I do not carry with me all day, every day. But when I'm out camping, backpacking, hiking, this is my carry knife. I didn't care for the sheath, the plastic hard sheath that it came with, so I had the leather crafter, the same one who did this. He made me this, and I much prefer leather on these things. Now, you'll notice that it's wrapped up with tape. This is rubber tape. It's not adhesive. It's just stuff that sticks to itself. I didn't care for the thinness of the handle, so I bulked it up a little bit with several layers of this rubber tape. But I like this because it's a nice, thick 1/4-inch steel. It's actually two types of steel, and I don't know if you can see it in this video, but there is a seam right there at the tip of this pin. There's a seam, and there's two different kinds of steel. The blade is a different kind of steel than the body itself. It is a full tang, which means this is all one piece of metal all the way to this tang that sticks out at the end, and I like that tang that sticks out so I don't beat the heck out of the handle when I use that. You can see that it isn't beat up very much because I don't use it a whole lot, but when I do use it, it's nice, and it's a basic knife. I don't want to get one of those that has serrated blades and has all these different features on them with a silly little button compass on the end and a hollow handle to store a fishing kit. I would suggest anybody who is getting a knife, get something like this. Get a knife. Don't get a multi-tool that happens to have a blade on it. Get a knife. And get a full tang knife. And like I say, this is a custom built sheath for it. Got a snap on it if I can get it lined up. And that is my everyday carry knife. And there you have it, my everyday carry gear, my EDC kit. So, this is Backpack Hack coming at you with this trail tip. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share my videos. Be safe out there, and I'll see you out on the trail.